Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And just when we thought we were there, just when we thought we had it in our grasp, it slips away. I guess that's what happens when you are trying to grab these slithery eels with gooey, silky skin in the Washington, D.C. swamp. We have been covering every single update of this, and all of it showed one thing, that Hillary Clinton was at the center of this entire Russia narrative and Russia conspiracy, the biggest political scandal of our lifetimes. There was mounting evidence, legitimate smoking gun evidence and testimony. Yet despite all of it, despite our hopes, this is the result that we get. Not guilty. Michael Sussmann, in a DC court with a corrupted DC jury, has been found not guilty in relation to his charges of lying to the FBI and peddling false information for the Clinton campaign in order to unseat a duly elected president. We're talking about unbelievable stuff, folks. I've been so hopeful in my videos, hopelessly optimistic you might say, that Hillary Clinton would finally be held to account. But even in all of those videos, where it seemed so clear that Hillary Clinton was guilty, and that those surrounding her were clear co-conspirators, I would sometimes have to inject a little bit of doubt, something like there's no way Hillary Clinton can actually get away with this, and then immediately say something, she probably will. The Clintons seem to get away with everything, especially in the DC court system, and of course it happened again. Bleach bidding and smashing hard drives and having a secret email server wasn't enough. Now it seems as though Hillary Clinton might, it's not over yet, but might, get away with the biggest political scandal and frankly political crime of our lifetimes. Let me update you guys on what's going on here. It is not the news that you want to hear, but you gotta hear it either way. But of course, before we get into any of it, make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible, and with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so we got this piece right over here from Technofog. He's basically been our go-to source on all of this. Michael Sussmann has been acquitted. The acquittal is no surprise, this is a DC jury after all. In the Roger Stone case, for example, we documented how a juror lied to get on the panel. That judge didn't care. Making matters worse, the Sussmann judge wrongly allowed for a woman to remain on the jury despite the fact that her daughter and Sussmann's are on the same high school crew team. One cannot help but think that juror had her own daughter's interests in mind, the cohesion of the crew team, sparring her of teenage drama when she reached a decision. After the verdict was announced, the jury's forewoman held court before the media and expressed her displeasure that the special counsel prosecute a false statement case. There are bigger things that affect the nation than a possible lie to the FBI. This juror was never impartial despite her assurance to the judge. Not that Sussmann wasn't guilty, but that there are bigger things that affect the nation than a possible lie to the FBI? What an awful statement. It's not a mere lie to the FBI. It's a series of lies that led to a phony manufactured scandal that haunted a president for 3 out of his 4 years in office, led to impeachment sham after impeachment scam, endless investigations, peddling of destructive conspiracy theories, affected the 2018 midterms drastically, and had a severe negative impact on political unity in America. But apparently there's bigger things that affect the nation than a possible lie to the FBI. What a ridiculous statement. This juror was never impartial despite her assurances to the judge. On the facts, the evidence was more than sufficient to prove Sussmann's guilt. Sussmann lied to the FBI General Counsel James Baker via text message in order to get a meeting to pass the Alpha Bank hoax materials to the FBI. We have the text message which we've covered. Jim, it's Michael Sussmann. I have something time sensitive and sensitive I need to discuss. Do you have availability for a short meeting tomorrow? I'm coming on my own, not on behalf of a client or company. Want to help the Bureau. Thanks. Sussmann lied again during the meeting, stating he was not there on behalf of a client in order to get the FBI to open an investigation into the Trump's organization's purported ties with Alpha Bank. Michael Sussmann started to explain why he was there. He said that he was not appearing before me on behalf of any client. Later, during testimony to Congress, Sussmann admitted that he met with Baker on behalf of a client. Quote, I think it's most accurate to say it was done on behalf of my client. Billing records prove that he had been working on the Alpha Bank project on behalf of the Clinton campaign. Evidence also demonstrated that Sussmann billed the Clinton campaign for the actual thumb drives passed to Baker during the meeting. How was the Clinton campaign billed? Sussmann referenced the confidential project, the Alpha Bank project. Not only was he pushing a phony hoax, salacious political attack on the then president, but he also lied, claiming that he was meeting with the FBI to give them information that just magically, stumbled on his lap or on his desk, and that he wasn't working for a particular particular client, even though the literal hard drives or thumb drives, the flash drives that he delivered to the FBI were paid for by Hillary Clinton's campaign. He handed over USB drives to the FBI that came directly from the DNC and Hillary Clinton. The DNC person that provided these thumb drives stated to Baker that he/she was going to release the information concerning the Trump server and direct contact with the Russians through Alfa Bank in Moscow to the press on Friday, 9/23/16, prior to the upcoming Trump/Clinton debate this weekend. Once again, there are very few coincidences in the world of politics. All of a sudden, this Hillary Clinton paid-for thumb drive that suggests that there's this magical Trump server and Trump Tower connected to the Kremlin, alleging that Donald Trump is a traitor to the nation, guilty of treason, just happens to make its way to the FBI, paid for by Hillary Clinton, and then scheduled for release in the press and the media right before the Trump-Clinton debate on the weekend. Nothing suspicious over here, folks. And somehow, despite all of the evidence, this DC jury just lets it go. Disgusting. And of course, the worst part is not only that the media was part of it, but that the FBI basically from the start knew it was bogus. The decision to open the investigation came from FBI leadership, and according to one FBI agent, people on the 7th floor to include director are fired up about this server. But after reviewing the evidence, the FBI leaned towards this being possibly a fake server not attributed to the Trump organization. Here's an actual text message log. I just talked to the cyber division. We're leaning towards this being a false server not attributed to the Trump organization. And then of course the most recent revelation that Hillary Clinton herself approved of the strategy to disseminate the Alfa Bank allegations to the media. Per Mr. Robbie Mook, a top figure in the Hillary Clinton campaign, when questioned, Mr. Mook, before the break you had testified that there was a conversation in which you told Mrs. Clinton about the proposed plan to provide the Alfa Bank allegation to the media. Is that correct? Mr. Mook responded, correct. The second question, and what was her response? All that I remember is that she agreed with the decision, he responded. There's legitimate evidence here, but this DC kangaroo court and this corrupt jury that had one woman who had a clear conflict of interest, seeing as her daughter was on the same crew team as Sussman's daughter, and other reports that the judge allowed Hillary Clinton and AOC donors in the jury pool for ex-Clinton lawyer's Russia trial. Well, they just let him go, because apparently there's more important things than the greatest political scandal, fraud, con job, and effort to unseat a duly elected president. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But it's not time to be a doomer just yet. It's definitely not over. My assumption is that Durham is going to continue bringing charges and going to continue digging. It's possible he even has a whole lot more than just Mr. Michael Sussman. And come 2022, after what seems to be the inevitable Republican takeover of the House, more investigations must be launched because there's a clear difference here. There's a distinction. The difference between all the investigations launched to go after Donald Trump and the investigation into the DNC and Hillary Clinton's campaign. The clear difference, there was never any evidence to suggest any wrongdoing from Donald Trump, the Trump campaign, or the Trump organization, but there is ample evidence connecting the DNC and Hillary Clinton in this massive political criminal conspiracy. That's what I got for you guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.